I'm in a second. Preparing. We're live. Hey, Laura, how you doing?
I am doing wonderful. I just love the snow because I haven't been out driving in it. So maybe if I was driving it, I wouldn't like it as much. So
There
it's
you go.
Friday and we're in February. I love February. There's something about January. I can't ever wait for it to be over. But February is a short month and we got Valentine's coming up. And it just, to me, is just a great month. So, Debbie, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, you know what? We've been doing the curiosity approach lately because we love to kind of like, put it out there and kind of let people know that we've been thinking and working and stuff. And so, you know, due to the current everything for everybody, we both kind of were talking and, Lori and I take a lot of time out trying to figure out what would be a good strategy. And so we came up with strategies to address anxiety and mental well-being. Okay. So we came up with a thought that everybody has something that stresses them out and puts anxiety into their life. And
Right.
we've touched on some of those subjects, but sometimes it's like, okay, what is okay and how is it okay to handle it? And what is a good way to try to motor through it and try to have practical, like personal growth type things to reset yourself 2021 and be able to actually deal with it better. So with that, I'm actually going to go turn it over to you, Laura, because I know the first thing we're going to talk about, people are probably going to be surprised. Okay.
Okay,
So
yeah, but
I'm
first I
turning
want
it to you.
okay, sounds good. First, I want to say that it is, this has been a really, really hard year for all of us, and we've been through so much. And I just want to say, you know what? It's okay to cry. That's what I'm going to talk about. The mental health strategies, and it's okay to cry. I don't know about you, but I'm a crier. I don't get mad, or what I should say, when I get upset and I'm mad, I cry. And you know what? It helps instead of bottling up all those emotions that just cry it out. And it's soothing. It relieves stress. It enhances your mood. You know what I always do? Because when I cry, I can't stop. I don't know if you people are like that out there, but I can't stop crying once I start. And anybody that knows that about me. But you know what? I cry to the point of exhaustion. I go and lay down, I go to sleep, and 99.9% of the time, I wake up and I'm able to look at the situation in a different way. And I'm able to like move on. You know that song, you get knocked down, but then you get up again? That's kind of like the whole thing with the crying. So it's okay to cry, especially now with so many sad things that are going on. But this is Reset 2021, and we are going to move positive. And we're talking about it's okay to do with emotions, but we got to get up and we got to get going again. Okay, Deb, with that, I'm going to send it over to you. You have anything on that?
I'm a crier too.
Mhm.
I feel like it just feels good. Sometimes it gets to that point where it's almost like it's like you're going like this and all of a sudden you just pop, and it's you just
Mhm.
got to get it done. So I love what you said because I feel like what you said had so much value and it's so true. So and I don't feel like we should be embarrassed about it either.
Right, right.
No
Not at
matter what,
all.
honestly. And so I'm going to say this, I'm going to say the past doesn't equal the future, meaning like you don't have to dwell on what had happened. Give
Right.
yourself some permission to unplug and regroup, without the guilty feeling. You know what I mean? If you went through a stress factor, don't be embarrassed over it. If you had like a meltdown or had like kind of like a place that maybe you just didn't feel real good about how the situation happened, um, just just worry about getting and moving forward. Okay. Sometimes an apology, if you ever have to, or just say I'm so sorry I was like that, is okay, but you don't always have to do that because people are people understand. I think that also you can't be there for others, you can't be a good person for others if you don't take care of yourself first. So if you find that outlet, crying is like really awesome, like Lori said. Sometimes it is doing other things. Maybe you need to. I tend to, when I'm a little bit upset and stressed out, I start cleaning, and it's my thing, And I start like cleaning everything, and then all of a sudden I'm cleaning a cabinet and I'm cleaning a closet or whatever. But it kind of makes me just break away and kind of like vent negative part of things that are overwhelming me and giving me anxiety, and I try to put it into something else, So I think that's a really good, thought. So what do you think, Laura? We're kind of having a little conversation back and forth is what we're doing.
You know what? I'm just laughing about the cleaning. If that's what I did instead of crying, I'd have the cleanest house in the world. I think that's a great strategy for cleaning because you're taking your frustrations. But sometimes I think when you're cleaning, because it's something that you is repetitive,
Hmm.
that I think you don't really pay attention to what you're doing, and it maybe will clear your mind so you're able to think a little bit. Or it could be a distraction, like you said, and
Hmm.
so you're concentrating on the cleaning instead of what's going on. I love that idea. I'm gonna have the cleanest house. Tell you that's what I'm gonna do. But there's so many things, and what could you do to tell yourself when you're feeling, sadness or you're frustrated and all kinds of stuff? Well, you know, your brain gives you signals, okay? I know my brain does. And sometimes it gives me negative signals.
Hmm.
Like you're not good enough, or you made too many mistakes, people don't like you. Have you ever gone to a party and you came home and you thought, oh my God, most people they thought I was crazy for what I said. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's you're safe. You are okay. You are who you are. And you have to learn to love yourself with that.
Hmm.
And you know how to cope with things. We've all learned how to cope with things since we were kids. So it's gonna be you're gonna be upset for a while, you're gonna dwell on things for a while, but you got to trust yourself that you're going to get through things. And that feeling's not going to last forever. What I do when I'm really kind of down, or the start of the day is just wearing me down, and I put some music on. I put positive music on because music puts you in a whole nother dimension. Sometimes I put disco music on. We can laugh about that. But you know what? We were disco dancers, and that was for a fun time in our lives. And when listening to that, I start thinking about all the fun things that we did and all the positive things we did. So the negative things kind of just like, oh well, this things happen, and you know what? You kind of sit there and think to yourself, thank you for the warning that things are not right. Maybe I'm not feeling well, and that's why I'm feeling the way I'm doing. So maybe you need to rest. Again, resting is a great thing, you know. You think about it when I think about when my granddaughter is over here and she doesn't want to take a nap, and I'm thinking, oh, someday you're gonna wish you could take a nap. So resting is great because resting it makes your body feel better, but your mind gets clearer, and that's why we should be resting more. And we need to accept the feeling of that we're not feeling good or we're having these feelings. It's okay to accept it, and I think once you accept it, you're able to deal with it more. With that, Debbie, do you want to go on to anything else, or you have anything to add?
Sure. I love exactly everything you were saying. I think that, you were spot on. I love all the ways that you explain that. Your brain does give you those
Yeah,
signals. It's so incredible. And, you can do mind over matter,
yeah,
and you can speak
right.
the positiveness into reality. And the more you continue to do that, the more you start to train your brain. So I'm going to read this right off of there. And it talks about the feelings Lori was talking about then, but it also said, I'm a total badass. I got this. Okay.
Yeah,
I had to laugh when I saw that in this thing that we printed. And I thought that it was really cool because don't let anxiety stop you from doing the things you want. It says in here, anxiety won't stop me. Okay. That's what it says. But it also says, I don't have to do this alone. I can ask for help. So if you feel like you're listening to what we're saying and you're saying, okay, you guys are giving me some, pointers on, and I can relate to what you guys, and the stuff we're talking about right here is not because we're experienced so much in it, because it's everyday life. Okay. And it's everyday life that Lori goes through. It's everyday life that I go through. I see other people go through it. And we're no, big experts, but we do know that if you feel like you can't do some of these principles, then go get help. Don't actually feel that you have to do it alone. Okay, that's a big huge message for anybody. Don't ever feel that way. um Things I feel like guilty about, okay, and I'm not saying myself, but I'm just going to say for in general, don't ever feel guilty if you end up having a panic attack and you actually have it in public. I've had family members that have had it happen, that, and I've had times where I felt very anxious and panicky, and maybe somebody picks up on it. Don't be embarrassed, okay? You can't control that at that moment, okay?
Right.
And also don't feel bad too, like if you have something that's on your calendar that you're supposed to do and you cancel doing it because you feel like, well, meaning like you're not sick, you're canceling, because is it the reason you're canceling is must be because there's something going on that you don't feel good enough to go mentally, maybe, okay? Maybe there's something just stressing you out and you don't feel like you're going to be a good friend or a good person to be with the other person, you know and then another thing is, don't feel guilty about standing up for your beliefs, but caution and understand the other person's beliefs are not the same. We have to always throw
Right.
this
Right.
disclaimer in.
Right.
you know and don't feel guilty if you're an emotional person, like we just shared about crying and everything. Don't feel guilty about stuff like that if it happens somewhere and you end up crying or whatever. But also don't feel guilty again about taking time for yourself. Okay. This is a big message, Reset
Yes.
2021. Okay. Like
Yes.
Lori and I talk about this all the time about how, like, I have this little system that I do. It might sound kind of dorky, but when I go pick up my grandson from school, I make a cup of coffee. I leave early, sometimes call Lori from the car, sometimes read my book, sometimes, and I park before he gets out of school. And I'm in my little bubble of my car, and I sort of have my little quiet time at times, because I feel like it's no one's going to be able to get me, no one's going to find me. I'm in my car
Yeah.
and I get there early.
Mhm.
But but find that happy spot of time, trying to find to take time for yourself. And also don't feel guilty again about disagreeing with someone. But again, remember, we did a thing on how to disagree agreeably, and you have to. And with that, I'm going to turn it to you, Laura, because I know this is a huge topic for everybody right now, so.
Right. Right. I just want to say something about the crying. I know some of you, men sometimes don't understand why we cry, okay? And not every man, I shouldn't say every man, but I would say most of them. That's why you get a good girlfriend, and in our site, we set up this a message where you could send a message to one another. We got a little group going, which you're welcome to join.
Hmm.
And you have friends in there that you could talk about things. You need somebody to talk to, because if you're not going to get it from your husband or boyfriend, whatever, you don't want to ruin that. Just find a friend, or, get on our thing, because I think it's important. And I think women understand women. And guys, for you guys out there, I wasn't putting you down. Women don't understand men either. And so you guys don't cry, but you get mad. So you guys need to start something. You need a guys thing to outlet. You need friends. You need to go out with friends. It's very important. And with that, I want to talk about automatically having negative thoughts about things and being aware of it. I kind of talked about that a little bit. That whole thing about I can't do anything right. I'm nothing. I'm always failing. Nobody likes me. I'm crazy. Well, our kids, if you guys have kids, your kids all think you're crazy. So that's not new. I'm a good person. I'm not worthy of anything. I'm stupid. Everyone hates me. Everything's going wrong. I'm ugly. Well, you know what? We are all made in the image of God, okay? And God loves us, all right?
Right.
And the thing is, we all have those feelings. Like I look at Debbie and I think, oh, she's got everything together. She's so beautiful and everything. I wish I was like Debbie. But Debbie is who Debbie is, and I am who I am. And those negative thoughts are very much in our heads. So we need to look at things different. and we need to look within ourselves, and we maybe need to make a list of stuff and
Mhm.
say, what is your good qualities, what's your bad qualities? And you know what, you're going to find out that you have better qualities than you have negative qualities. I know I've done that before because I have a little person in my head that tells me that kind of stuff too. But you know what? And if it's really, really bad, then you need to get some help. Go see a counselor or see a psychiatrist. But there's so much help out there. And you know what's so great about it is there's also support groups online. You can
Mhm.
type in anything and you can get a support group online.
Mhm.
When we're Debbie and I were talking before about the meetup groups, there's
Mhm.
support groups with the meetup groups. There's
Mhm.
so much out there. But you know what? You are beautiful. You are who you are supposed to be at this point in your life. And you know what? If you don't like some things about you want to lose weight, fine. You lose weight. You do it for yourself. You know, we're not here to try to be somebody else that we're not. And you know what? And you're not ugly and you're not crazy, unless your kids are saying it, but and you're not stupid. So, stop judging yourself so much. Okay? Debbie, with that, do you have anything to say?
I do. I want to say this, that little thing in your head that you said, I get
Yeah.
that too. Okay. And
You really?
and thank God for you, Laura, because you and I have this connection where we know we can talk to about each other about, we almost feel like we know what's going on in each other's heads, and, I admire you for all the things that you do and who you are. And you're so beautiful and all your talents and everything. And, it's like so funny because we can't compare each other to each other, but
Right.
we
Yeah.
can learn from each other. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I've learned so many different things just even here listening to what you're saying as you're talking about some of these line items that we have here. These are things that like are so average and normal that we all go through. And I'm so glad that you brought up about that messenger group that we started, which
Yes.
is called Reset
Yeah.
2021.
Right.
Um, and if you guys want to be on it, all you have to do is if you or someone does, just reach out to Lori or myself and we'll be able to just add you on. And we have like conversations on there with people. People talk about frustrations they're going through. People talk about like their victories and we want to praise them. And they talk about their things that they're having a problem with. And so we can be a little bit more personal because we see the name, we know who they are. If we don't know the person, we still can be personal because we can offer like, okay, I'll pray for you or I'll do this for
Yeah.
you, which is awesome. But I want to say that you did say this too, the mental attitude, turn it around. Don't be so hard on yourself. Lori, you touched on that eloquently. You really don't be so hard on yourself and just reset yourself 2021,
Yeah. Right.
honesty toward yourself, permission to enjoy things, set goals and dreams. Lori said it too. Or, journaling, you guys, write it down. I see journaling everywhere I go when I'm looking at sites like Pinterest and blogs and stuff that people, this is where people are being able to work through writing down your feelings, writing down things that you want to accomplish, reset 2021, and then being able to see if how you did. And if you look at like things that you've tried to accomplish and things, whether it's, emotionally or a goal, and you didn't do it again, just start over. It's okay. Reset again, love yourself like you're your best friend, okay? Like you have to be able to like yourself. You can't hate yourself. I know it sounds really weird, you guys, but you have to try to, brand, I don't want to say brand yourself, but be like, would you want to be yourself's best friends? Put it that way. Would you want to be friends
Right.
with
I love
yourself?
that. Yeah.
Okay, that's a great way. Okay, of course I want to be friends with Lori, and Lori think I want to be friends with me. But you know what I'm saying? Would you want someone else? Would they want to be? Are you approachable and a good friend? And but remember that you can't please everyone. It's not your job to please everyone. Are you going to see eye to eye with everyone? And are you going to be able to be everybody's friends? No, actually, it's not going to happen that way. Um, it's just life, but you can be the better person. I always teach my children that way. Don't ever burn a bridge and don't ever try to be the example to the other person, but remember what we said before about if you feel you're struggling, go ahead and check for help. There's one thing I want to say is that a lot of insurance companies will allow people to go for so many visits if they need to talk to a counselor or somebody who can help them work through strategies. And
Mhm.
a lot of them are doing it on Zoom. So
Yeah.
things are easy. You don't even have to leave your house. And if you don't want, if you personally don't want someone in your household to know that you need help, that you want to talk to somebody because you may feel embarrassed or you may feel they may not support you in that way, then work it out on Zoom or something, and it's doable. So with that, Laura, I want to turn it back over to you because I think this is a lot of meat and potatoes we have
I
had here,
know.
you know?
I just, I'm so in awe that we did this today because I think everybody really needs that, especially, this time of year, the sun's not out that much and everybody gets that little seasonal depression or whatever. Just the thing is, you can't keep, get the help like Debbie said, again about the Zoom counseling. Oh yeah, that's what they're doing now because of the fact that you can't, because of the COVID, they don't want you in the offices and stuff. But all I want to say is, be your best friend. And I think that was the greatest thing you could say, Debbie. And you know what? Don't think about it as being selfish because you
Right.
like yourself. I have struggled with that a lot too, because I'm not a selfish person. And sometimes I feel like it's a little selfish, but it really isn't because we have to like ourselves to be friends and to be good parents to everything. And you know what, guys, this means for you too. I'm sure you guys, you struggle with this too. Especially because you're getting older, losing hair, and you might not be in shape like you used to be. And you see guys that are and all that. Just love yourself for who you are. And I just challenge everybody this next week to sit there and do something positive for yourself and just like Debbie says, journal it. And I started journaling. And I don't like to journal. But you know what? Somebody once told me if you write something down 3 times,
Mm-hmm.
sticks in your head. So maybe it's like something you want to do, write it down 3 times, say it out loud 3 times, and then it will register with you. With that, Debbie, I'm going to hand it over to you.
I'm just gonna say, Lori, I love everything you just said. That's so true. Right? I love that you're journaling too, and that you're right, and it's
Yeah,
so true.
love
And
it.
with that, we want to just say to everybody, have a wonderful, weekend. Try to take some of these nuggets and things and try to utilize them. And again, you guys were excited. We have seen growth every week, every week, every week. And so, our goal is to hit 1,000.
Yep.
We're approaching 400.
Mhm.
Hey, it just anybody that can have some value from this. But if you're listening to this and it might not even be your own self, you might think, oh, somebody else that I know could really listen to this and feel it could help them. Please share us, share it, share it, share it. And with that, everyone have a blessed, great weekend. All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye bye.